स्किल, स्केल एंड स्पीड। बहुत बड़े स्केल पर सोचने की आदत देश में खड़ी करनी होगी और उसको पूरा करने की आदत बनानी।
$1 trillion digital economy by financial year 2026. Indian electronics market pegged at $155 billion. Fiscal incentives for ESDM and allied sectors at $30 billion. Electronic exports have become the 6th largest export commodity group as of March 2023. India is the 2nd largest mobile phone manufacturer globally. Production-linked incentive scheme for large-scale electronics manufacturing and IT hardware.
Viewers, you're watching the special presentation of Sansad TV on Making India a Manufacturing Powerhouse, and today our focus is on the IT and electronics sector. In this edition, we'll show you how India has emerged as a global hub for electronics manufacturing. Right now, we are at one of the manufacturing facilities of one of the unicorns of India in manufacturing electronic goods. So come, let's track India's incredible journey.
India's manufacturing economy is undergoing a historic transition as the country emerges as a global hub for electronics production. Given the geopolitical and economic backdrop, policymakers, government has set an ambitious target of expanding this sector's output to $300 billion by mid-2026. The expansion of India's manufacturing ecosystem has become an increasing strategic imperative for the government, particularly as it seeks to curb over-reliance on imports and to attract multinationals diversifying their supply chains. The government views electronics manufacturing as an important route to achieving its economic goals and sees the sector as a high potential contributor to growth in gross domestic product and exports. India's stable policy climate, synergies between the central and state governments on the overarching direction of industrial growth, and holistic operational policy measures have fueled the demand for translocating manufacturing to India. A growing push towards supply chain diversification by large firms in the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic and globally emerging geopolitical lines have further facilitated this. In addition to these factors, India has continued to maintain competitive manufacturing wages, sustained reduction in infrastructure gaps within the country through the implementation of programs such as Bharatmala, Sagarmala, PM Gati Shakti, together with supply-side incentives from the government, will further improve capital productivity and greater investment to GDP ratio, creating a virtuous cycle. There is more to this. The concerted push for digitization across the country has promoted the start of a digital era and digital revolution. With the needle moving on the Digital India initiative, people of all age groups desire an improved quality of life. Between 2017 and 2022, the total number of internet subscribers in India has grown at a compound annual rate of 15%, reaching 850.95 million by September 2022. India continues to rank high on several macroeconomic parameters: financial attractiveness, consumption pattern, skills and availability, and need for technology.
हमारे लिए टेक्नोलॉजी देश के सामान्य से सामान्य नागरिक को एम्पावर करने का एक सशक्त माध्यम है। हमारे लिए टेक्नोलॉजी देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने का प्रमुख आधार है।
Government of India's goal is to broaden and deepen the country's electronic manufacturing ecosystem. At this juncture, National Policy on Electronics 2019 envisions positioning India as a global hub for electronic system design and manufacturing by encouraging driving capabilities in the country and developing core components including chipsets and creating an enabling environment for the industry to compete globally. It comes as no surprise that electronics has emerged as one of the fastest growing industries in the Silicon Age, when the double movement of globalisation and the World Wide Web created a massive demand for electronic commodities. An increasingly digitalised world has ensured that there is no slowdown in the global electronic trade. India's capacity to manufacture for the world has been demonstrated across 4 major segments: mobile phones, consumer electronics, IT hardware, and electronic components that account for over 70% of India's domestic manufacturing profile. Global firms can readily leverage these domestic capabilities to achieve supply chain diversification and scale up production by manufacturing in India. In the early years of last decade, the Indian electronics industry faced a wide demand-supply gap amid import dependency, limited quality infrastructure, a complex tax structure, limited localization of supply chain, staggered logistics and last-mile connectivity, inflexible labor laws, limited R&D focus, and inadequate funding and negligible domestic value addition. However, the manufacturing landscape of India has completely changed now. In fact, India's semiconductor industry is on the cusp of a significant transformation, promising an exponential surge in job opportunities within the sector.
The microprocessor chips that power all things digital will largely be made in India very soon. India is seizing the opportunity like never before.
With a slew of semiconductor fabrication units and research and development centers proposed for India, along with those already allocated, the nation is projected to witness a growth in chip manufacturing units.
Huge opportunities for the country. See, 10 years back, what was electronics manufacturing in the country? Negligible. Nothing practically. Today, electronics manufacturing is 80 billion US dollars. That's the extent. 25 lakh people are employed in electronics manufacturing, right? That is what Digital India has, Make in India has brought the country to, right? Along with that, this component ecosystem is getting developed. We are daily getting applications for some component coming into the country, which basically means the industry is now maturing to a level where the entire ecosystem is now coming to our country. The most fundamental raw material now will be semiconductor for all this, right? In semiconductor, the advantage India has always had was a very large population of design engineers. We have close to 50,000 semiconductor design engineers working in the country for across the world. There are good, large leadership companies for whom these engineers are working.
The mobile manufacturing industry has grown 20 times in last 9 years. In fact, 99% of mobiles used in India are made in India. Let's see the meteoric rise of this sector.
India is also now the second biggest manufacturing hub for mobile phones due to heavy investment from original equipment manufacturers, original design manufacturers, and companies dealing in components and parts. Mobile phones manufactured in India had a market share of 19% in 2014, and that saw a jump to 98% in 2022. In recent years, global smartphone players like Samsung and Apple have all turned to India.
We are focusing on first on productivity improvement, that how we can be more productive compared to what they are in China, and then we are working on the localization of the components, how we can have more local components so that we can have less dependability from China and other countries, and in that process we can create more employment in India.
With Honorable Prime Minister's vision for Digital India and our Make in India and Make for the World policies, India seeks to increase manufacturing to 25% of GDP by March 2025. With policies like Production-Linked Incentive Scheme, global smartphone manufacturers have set up shop in India, and result, India's mobile phone exports have jumped from $300 million in 2018 to an astounding $11 billion in this year. India is the second largest mobile phone manufacturer globally and is also the second largest market for smartphones in the world, and we are the fastest growing smartphone market in the world. Recently, 27 IT manufacturing firms have also been approved under the PLI scheme for making laptops, tablets, PCs, servers and other electronic devices. Not only these policies are adding to our digital economy, but it's also helping create employment for the lakhs of our youth. This is truly going to be India's decade.
Indian industry is consistently strengthening its digital capabilities by adopting deep tech technologies and focusing on deploying emerging technology solutions such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and IoT. It has a robust supply of experienced and fresh talent to cater to both core and new age technologies. The companies are already setting up and taking notice of the India advantage. The technology industry in India has shown tremendous growth and has been growing at a CAGR of 9% since fiscal year 2019. India is one of the most preferred destinations when it comes to setting up global capability centers. The total number of such centers in India are 1,500 plus. Over 45 new data centers are expected to come in India by 2025. Data centers in India have attracted investment of $10 billion since 2020.
The launch of 5G is going to have a positive impact on the businesses and economy in general in India, which is one of the largest digital economies in the world, by having nearly ubiquitous access to high bandwidth in almost every part of the country.
The Digital Personal Data Protection Law signals the ushering in of a new era in India's digital development journey, one which recognizes the value and centrality of personal data in today's globally interconnected digital economy, as well as one that takes cognizance of the need to safeguard such personal data from misuse. At a time when technology has become the defining paradigm of the 21st century, India's ongoing data protection regulation underscores the nation's focus on building a strong data privacy regime.
It's a very important piece of the overall framework that the Honorable Prime Minister is building in terms of laws and rules and regulations for this $1 trillion digital economy goal. The Honorable Prime Minister just 2 years ago on Independence Day referred to as the India Decade. This digital personal data codifies, or in a sense grants to the Indian citizens the rights to making sure that their personal data that they have given to a platform is protected.
In financial year 2023, India's electronic goods industry emerged as a star performer in India's export basket, totaling $25.3 billion, up 49% over financial year 2022.
In order to boost electronics manufacturing, including semiconductors, in the country and incentivize large investments in electronics value chain, as well as promote exports, the PLI scheme was unveiled. The Production-Linked Incentive Scheme for Large-Scale Electronics Manufacturing was notified on 1st of April 2020. Over the tenure of PLI scheme, the 16 approved companies are expected to lead to total production of more than 10.5 lakh crore. Out of the total production, in the next 5 years, around 60% is expected to be contributed by exports of the order of 6.5 lakh crore. The companies approved under the scheme are expected to bring an additional investment in electronics manufacturing to the tune of 11,000 crore. Production-Linked Incentive Scheme for IT hardware was notified on 3rd of March 2021. Over the tenure of the scheme, the 14 approved companies under the scheme are expected to lead to total production of around 1,60,000 crore. Out of the total production, more than 37% is expected to be contributed by exports, by the order of 60,000 crore. The scheme is expected to bring an additional investment in electronics manufacturing to the tune of 2,500 crore. Key government initiatives aimed at boosting domestic production of electronics and IT hardware include the Scheme for Promotion of Manufacturing Electronic Components and Semiconductors, which offers financial incentives for the production of electronic components and semiconductors. The Modified Electronics Manufacturing Clusters Initiative seeks to establish world-class infrastructure for electronics manufacturing. The government has also liberalized foreign direct investment, allowing up to 100% FDI for electronics manufacturing.
PLI's, the Production Linked Incentive Scheme, has indeed been the most effective outcome-oriented tool that has helped the entire campaign of Make in India. And we've seen that in several sectors, starting with the electronics and mobile sector, great progress has been made, investments have come in, many companies are on board, and while production has started in some, we've seen some extremely encouraging export figures. Having said that, the PLI scheme, in my opinion, has two challenges which we need to, in order to deepen and bring in the global value chains for each of these product lines that we have chosen, we will have to do something different, because the current PLI schemes are good for assembly, given their investment to turnover to incentive ratios, but they are not good enough for high value added manufacturing, especially component manufacturing and raw material manufacturing. So we need to tweak them with the correct turnover to investment ratios in order to be able to get that right. The second thing is that PLIs, by their nature, the investment thresholds have kept the SME segment completely out of that, out of those incentives. And hence a PLI scheme, or I would say maybe an employee linked scheme or a value added linked scheme, is designed for SMEs, is the need of the hour, because that will then make this entire manufacturing a grassroots level project, and millions of our entrepreneurs in the SMEs who are wanting to expand, diversify, or enter into the new segments will be able to come in, and that is when we can say that India is truly becoming a factory for the world.
We are an applicant under DPIIT's PLI for white goods. A scheme which provides an incentive of 4 to 6% is a game changer.
The surge in demand signifies a pivotal moment in India's electronics industry, which has positioned itself not only as a key growth driver, but as a key catalyst for the quest of skilled manpower.
In financial year 2023, the technology industry is estimated to have 5.4 million employees and contribution of 53% in India's service exports. With 23 new unicorns, India became the second highest country in terms of number of unicorns added in the year 2022. 1,300 plus new tech startups emerged in 2022. Another important factor contributing to India's emergence as an electronics manufacturing hub is the country's highly skilled workforce. India is home to a large pool of technical and engineering talent, with many of the country's top universities offering courses in electronics and engineering. This has made India an attractive destination for multinational companies looking to set up research and development centers and manufacturing plants in the country.
हमारे यहाँ पे एक्चुअली जैसे TWS बनता है, नेक बैंड बनता है, स्मार्ट वॉच बनता है, स्पीकर्स बनते हैं, नेक स्टेप वाले वायर भी बनते हैं.
With the government's unwavering support and key initiatives, the country has been successful in promoting domestic manufacturing and boosting exports. The production-linked incentive scheme, in particular, has been a game changer for the electronics sector in India. With several global electronic giants investing heavily in the country, India is on its way to becoming a major electronics manufacturing hub in the world.
Well, viewers, that's all I had for you in this edition. With camera persons Junaid and Yogesh and camera assistant Sandeep, I'm Kriti Mishra signing off for Sansad Television.